Welcome back, and if you've just joined us, we're live on air here from Salam Media in Johannesburg, of course, giving you a brilliant take on our Eid special, and it's definitely an exciting afternoon. We just got out of Doda's farm, having a look at the sheep and, the whole protocol that they're going to be following this year, missing out on it, of course, because a lot of us during this lockdown can't actually do that. So we thought we'd bring you the journey and experience that was very exciting. But going on further, we're now going to discuss the virtues of Qurbani and the sunnah of eating only after the animal has been slaughtered with Sister Aapa Aa'ishah Jamal. And let's see if she's on the line. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah for having me.
Jazakallah for joining us this afternoon on the show, Sister Aapa Aa'ishah Jamal, because, it's so interesting to know. We just had this amazing experience at Doda's farm. I think it had lightened our spirits considering the situation we're in with the lockdown. And of course, we now wanted to get into the situation of, the virtues of Qurbani and, of course, the sunnah of eating the animal. And we'd like to join you thank you this afternoon for joining us. And of course, eradicating some of the, I think, sometimes misconceptions that we have.
Absolutely. So we just want to start about how this is such a great opportunity that Allah Ta'ala has given us in the first place, this importance of Qurbani and the worship behind the sacrifice. That Allah doesn't need our charity and Allah doesn't need our sacrifice. And nothing we do is benefiting Allah. This is all to benefit us. So firstly, this is a chance for us to purify our hearts and to come closer to Allah, to purify our intentions so that Allah Ta'ala can accept our acts of Qurbani and to strengthen our bonds with Allah and to strengthen our lives in this world and the next. May Allah reward us and accept all these efforts that we're going through. I know it's difficult also. This year especially, a lot of people have chosen to send overseas instead of slaughtering at home. But it's actually very important as well at home, and for reasons that we're going to speak about now. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has given us so many virtues of Qurbani. There's nothing dearer to Allah during these days of Qurbani than sacrificing animals. The sacrificed animal on the day of judgment will come forth, and its hair and its horns and its hooves will be weighed, and this will be accepted by Allah before the blood even falls on the ground. So inshallah we should try and sacrifice with an open heart and a very happy heart. And also ensure that along with this actual sacrifice, whatever we do next is an act of worship as well. And this is like, as you were saying, eating after your animal has been slaughtered, that should be the first thing you eat. So we know from a hadith from the narrations of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would not eat until he would return from the Eid Salah, and then he would eat from his Qurbani first. So it's sunnah, firstly, for us to eat the first thing on the day of Eid al-Adha. It should be from our slaughtered animal. And this is why, along with performing our Qurbanis abroad, families should also try and perform our Qurbanis locally so that we can fulfill this sunnah especially and inquire its benefits, and also to instill significance of Qurbani within our children. And this hadith of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, where Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam ate only after coming back from the Eid Salah, it's a very strong hadith, it's a very clear hadith, so there's no doubt in it. We know that this is a sunnah. And something that become very common in, I think, our culture and our communities is we like to eat the liver specifically of the animal, kaledi or whatever we call it in our languages. A lot of people choose that after they slaughter the animal, they specifically eat that, isn't it?
Yeah, so, you're right. I think a lot of the people in the communities do eat the liver, but I mean, nothing stops you from eating anything else from there, like maybe a piece of the shoulder, because as we know, that was Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's favorite part.
Absolutely.
He used to love eating shoulder.
100%. That's like the biggest sunnah. So I think the reason people do eat the liver so much is because a lot of the previous scholars used to eat from it, and also it's very quick to cook. So, if you are going to be eating something first on that day, if you're trying to practice that sunnah, then you want to use something that's going to cook faster, something that will, hasten us in achieving this reward. So it's not a sunnah, but there's absolutely no harm in eating the liver of a Qurbani animal first. I know a lot of people did ask about it. And, inshallah, Allah Ta'ala will benefit, give us the reward no matter what part of the eating, no matter what, as long as we're fulfilling the sunnah. And may Allah accept all our sacrifices and our efforts in everything we're doing, inshallah.
Ameen. And I think it's also most importantly the intention that we do it with. I mean, we must be able to say that we're doing this for the love of Allah, and the intention that we do it with is the most important thing, and that's what I say.
100%. Every action of ours is judged on our intention. So also when we slaughtering, it's important to remember that we're not just doing it for any other reason. We're not just doing it for no reason. Qurbani is not just about filling up our freezers or just going through the whole, ritual of slaughtering. We should remember that this is also a metaphor for ourselves to slaughter our own hatred and our jealousy and our pride and our ego. It's, Eid al-Adha is about surrender and submission and sacrifice. It's a reminder of all of this for us.
And I'm so glad you brought that to the fore, because I think a lot of the times people don't realize the amount of significance that it has, just besides, offering your love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but to, of course, like you say, when you're slaughtering it, you're literally getting rid of all of those sins. And it's supposed to be some form of an awakening to say that these are the type of things, as far as my character and personality is concerned, that I need to change. So I don't think it just signifies one aspect as such.
100%, I completely agree. We should remember that it's in the Quran that inna salati wa nusuki wa mahyaya wa mamati li rabbil alamin. Our prayer, our sacrifice, our life, our death, it is all for Allah. And remember where this comes from also. The whole ritual of Qurbani comes from Hazrat Ibrahim and Ismail alayhi salam, about how Ibrahim alayhi salam completely surrendered himself to Allah. I mean, what a difficult thing it must have been to just accept this decree of Allah and go and put forth your own son for the cause of Allah Ta'ala, and he just completely did this without any question. So it's very important. It's an amazing reminder for us to just reaffirm in ourselves all of the things that this is really about. It's not just about the actual act, it's about everything behind it.
Now let's talk a little bit about the virtues of Qurbani.
Absolutely. So, like we said, that the virtues of Qurbani, Allah Ta'ala has promised us that on the day of Qiyamah, we will be benefited by this animal that we slaughtered. In this world, it's just an animal, but on the day of Qurban, in the day of Qiyamah, Allah Ta'ala will order this animal to come forward, and this animal and its horns and its hair and its hooves is all going to be weighed. And this sacrifice that we make is accepted by Allah Ta'ala before the blood even touches the ground. Allah has already accepted this. Allah Ta'ala has given us this reward for all of this that we are doing by so little effort on our part,
Mm. And unfortunately, during this period of time with this lockdown and, of course, the restrictions and constrictions with the social gatherings and that as such, it has become difficult. So I think our intention, even if we just do send it away, going to a very poor country where we know, those that are way less fortunate than us are going to benefit, I think also means something. Because a lot of people, I think, are feeling a bit, down and out about the fact that they sometimes can't do it themselves because there isn't that availability at this moment. So what advice would you give them?
Like you said, it's not a thing to be down about. Of course, it's quite sad that most people didn't get to go out and choose their sheep and keep it at home, etc., or have the whole family over or go to farms as we usually do. But remember that if you are sending it away and you are sending it to places, these people haven't had meat to eat in a long time. They absolutely benefiting from it. They're sitting at home and they're making dua for you after they eat, because for them it's something so amazing that someone is taking out their money and their effort to give them something else. So remember that it's not it's not a waste. It's not something that's horribly sad, because inshallah you're still getting the same reward for it that you would have been getting. Allah is most merciful. You're getting the same reward, and you're getting a double reward because you're helping someone else as well.
Yes, and especially during this period, there are so many people out there that are suffering from so much of poverty. I think we should look at it in that sense, that at least we're reaching out in a different direction this year. And of course, there's a lot more sawab and reward in what we're doing. Like, as you were saying, having to feed somebody that hasn't probably eaten one meal a day.
Absolutely. So, alhamdulillah, Allah is merciful and Allah knows best. It's difficult times, but there is always something good in everything, including this.
Aapa Aa'ishah, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you slaughtered your own animal?
Not this Eid, but I have before Ji, alhamdulillah.
Explain the experience to us, because I think some women are a little bit reluctant and afraid. There are lots of other women that have slaughtered the animal, and then when you hear the beautiful experiences they've gone through, knowing that they've done this for the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it means so much. So explain your experience to us.
Of course, Ji, absolutely. I know it is a bit of it's almost like a stereotype sometimes that some people don't want girls to do it because it seems like something that someone, there's a whole thing behind it. But it's absolutely nothing like that. It's necessary for us to be able to be strong enough to do such a thing. Remember that this isn't about slaughtering. It's not about yourself. This is about the animal itself. And alhamdulillah, it's not. I personally, I don't even like blood, but it's not about that. So I think if you are interested in doing it, to put aside everything and whether you're getting someone to hold your hand and slaughter with you, it's a good thing, alhamdulillah. It's a bit scary, but it's definitely satisfying in a way to feel like you've done it yourself. Like you've done this act yourself. It's your own ibadah that you're carrying out. It's not just being passed off to someone else. It's your own Qurbani. I think it just feels better to know that you're doing it yourself. So also, alhamdulillah, I know that we spend a lot of money also on flowers and decorations and having the best Eid as possible. So it's also important to remember to set aside some money. Someone was advising us in the start of the year to start saving a little bit, just very little every month, so that for Qurbani we can actually buy our own animal, inshallah, and try and close ourselves. Also, I
Know
think
that you're getting to share your Qurbani and you're getting to give others, and it's all about giving. It's not just about receiving. It's about receiving the reward, but at the end of the day you're also giving to somebody.
absolutely, and also to remember that when it comes to slaughtering our animal, it's also a sunnah to give a part of it away. So all scholars and madhabs, etc., they recommend that we keep a part of it for ourselves to eat and to give a part of it away. So whether it's just a little bit or whether you're giving away a recommended third of it, etc., to keep for ourselves, but definitely send to someone who's underprivileged.
Yeah, that is so true, and I think that's what also it teaches us that as well, as the fact that we at least can reach out to others through our Qurbani. Firstly, we're receiving the rewards, and secondly, we're helping those that are in dire need, and that is what it's all about. It's being able to uplift people and being selfless in this world, and I think each one of us serves a purpose. And when it comes to the month of Dhul Hajj, I think the awareness is created even more about turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but also by realizing our purpose in this world.
Absolutely. And it's also so nice to remember that we're not alone in doing this. There's Muslims across the entire world, in every part of the world, there's Muslims who are all doing this together. Everyone is slaughtering and everyone is trying to benefit other people at this time. Everyone is, feeling more generous at this time. And it's such a beautiful thing. I think it really just brings us all together. And this year is a bit difficult because a lot of people who wanted to perform Hajj weren't able to as well. But like I said, it's just good to look at all the things that we do have at this moment and all the things that we can do.
Yeah, give advice to our listeners, because I think a lot of them are in the situation where, of course, we can't do social gatherings, meet our family, go and do our own Qurbani, as you said. What way can they use tomorrow to literally just reflect and make their day actually one of reaping lots of rewards?
Well, like we said, there's our own ibadah is very important, but also something that's really good. And someone was telling me this, that they haven't been able to see their family for months now because they don't live close to their family and because of lockdown, etc. So what they planned on doing for Eid was to cook their own meal and cook a little bit extra and to go around and give in all the areas that didn't have food in their community. And I thought it was so beautiful that this is a day for us to celebrate and this is a day for us to, everyone just wants to sit down and relax and after everything they've made. But to go out and put a smile on someone else's face, especially on this beautiful day, I think it's just really, really beautiful. And when you help other people, you feel better yourself.
Yeah, no, I think it's
Absolutely.
such a kind gesture because I mean, at the end of the day, like you say, you're not getting to, share those meals with your family and your loved ones, but by reaching out to somebody else in need, I think it makes such, it's so fulfilling as such.
It absolutely is. It's a wonderful feeling for yourself, and you are absolutely certain that those people are so grateful and that they're praying for you and they're making you for you. And it's just a wonderful thing in general.
That is so true. What message do you have for our listeners today?
Firstly, Eid Mubarak. And also, Alhamdulillah, may Allah just grant everyone ease in these troubling times. I know how difficult it is. There's been so many janazas and so many people going through really, really difficult things, so many sicknesses. But for us all to remember to exercise sabr in these times, this is all a test from Allah, and everyone is getting tested differently. But undoubtedly, this is a mercy from Allah in a way. And
Most
everything
definitely.
we are going through is
I think it's
absolutely
also a time for us to just reflect in retrospect and see where we are in our lives, and of course, like you say, get closer to our Allah than we did before, because that's really what it's all about. Is just being able to get closer, being able to reflect on ourselves and ask ourselves where are we and where we'd like to head to.
absolutely 100%. And also, there's so many things that we have to be grateful for. This year, especially, we can see how we have to appreciate our family more, appreciate something as little as just going out for a coffee or taking a drive somewhere. There's so much that we took for granted before, and I think it's made us all a bit more grateful in a way. So, alhamdulillah for that.
So true, I agree with you. And we want to say Jazakallah to you for actually taking out the time and giving us some great insight into the virtues and sunnah of eating the animal after we've slaughtered it. It's definitely enlightened us in many directions. We appreciate you taking the time out, and we'd love to wish you a lovely Eid Mubarak for tomorrow, and of course to stay safe. From myself and the team, Jazakallah so much.
Likewise, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And that was Sister Aapa Aa'ishah Jamal, definitely giving us some grand insight into, of course, the virtues of Qurbani and the sunnah of eating. Only after we've slaughtered the animal, and she shed some light on the matter, and of course, giving us some real insight on how to go about doing the necessary. We're going to go for a quick break. Do stay with us. We have a lot more happening after this break.
Salam Media.